My name's Jeff. I'm 30 years old. I live in the new Gold Coast and I am/was a professional surfer. I've been living here for about 15 years now. We moved here back in, I'm pretty sure it was 2030. Back then, not really. There wasn't a great deal of information out there. Like, we didn't really get taught it in schools. I was in the middle of high school when we moved, so going through the early stages of high school, we didn't get taught much about it at all. Well, with the rising sea levels going through the Gold Coast and forcing us to move inland, now the closest place we can live to the beach is 30 kilometres away. So being a professional surfer makes it pretty difficult to get to the beach to go for an afternoon surf or whatever. We have to do a lot more travel, so it makes the profession quite a bit harder and puts a lot of strain on the wallet. Vaguely, I remember it being a pretty sort of surfy town. I guess before the water started rising up, a lot of people used to love living close to the beach, but other than that, my only memories of it's kind of been like a bit of an abandoned wasteland. Right, now that I know a bit more about coastal erosion, I kind of see how it's affected my surfing as an occupation in the long run. With the rising sea levels, usually that means better surf, but because of the strong seas and the sea levels rising to a point where it's actually washing away the sand from the banks, destroying the reefs that are already in place that do make those waves, and now that's actually hitting the city, those waves aren't breaking where they used to anymore. They're breaking pretty much on the footsteps of people's doors. It's hard to say. There's been a lot more progression and I guess awareness brought up about since the whole move. They are looking at new ways to kind of prevent the coastal erosion from happening, and we have moved quite an elevation up as well. So it's hard to say whether it's going to get to the point where we're going to have to move again, but I think it is going to get worse before it gets better. So a few of the new sort of, I guess, projects I've got going on are things like man-made reefs. I guess where the city used to be, they're using those sort of old infrastructures to kind of create like a new sort of man-made reef or barrier against any sort of big swells and storms that are coming in. There's been a lot more progression with our carbon emissions, our carbon footprint. Carbon emissions are finally being taxed by the government, so companies are being forced to find more efficient ways of producing.